Somewhere in the Treasury Department, Mr. President, locked away in a cabinet drawer, is a big Epstein file that's full of actionable information. Follow the money details about his financing and operations that await investigation.
Oregon Senator Ron Wyden, a high-ranking Democrat on the powerful Senate Finance Committee, claims the Treasury Department has files related to Jeffrey Epstein, and Wyden wants the Trump administration to release them. It's the latest in this saga that President Trump has tried to dismiss since the bombshell announcement earlier this month that the Justice Department would not be releasing any more Epstein files to the public, and that Epstein did not have a so-called client list. It's not just Democrats like Wyden calling for more records to be made public. Here's what Republican Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina said this morning.
Why don't we just release it and deal with it? If it's embarrassing because it's not substantive, that's fine. If it's embarrassing because somebody's implicated, that's fine. We just need to solve it.
Okay, well, let's get back to what Senator Wyden revealed today regarding some of the financial files he claims sit in the Treasury Department. Wyden referenced this report in the New York Times published this morning that goes into greater detail of what some of Wyden's staffers found when going through confidential files. They say Epstein moved money through several banks to fuel his sex trafficking network.
Last year, the Biden administration allowed our investigators to look at portions of the file. We did that at the Treasury building. Here is what it says. Treasury's Epstein file details, Mr. President, 4,725 wire transfers. Let me repeat that. 4,725 wire transfers, adding up to nearly $1.1 billion flowing in and out of just one of Mr. Epstein's bank accounts. If you ask me, that is more than 4,000 potential lines of investigation right there. Again, these are all potential leads, Mr. President, the Department of Justice ought to be digging into. This is about years and years of international sex trafficking. None of this is a hoax. None of it is a scam. And I'd like to say I consider it insulting to the intelligence of the American people for the Trump administration to simply say there is nothing to investigate here.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, when asked about releasing more Epstein files, leaned on a popular talking point.
The Democrats had control of this building, the White House, for 4 years, and they didn't do a dang thing when it came to transparency in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and his heinous crimes. It was this president who directed the Department of Justice and the Attorney General to do an exhaustive review of all files related to Jeffrey Epstein, which they did.
Senator Wyden argues that since the DOJ did such an exhaustive review of the files, why not give the files in the Treasury to Congress?
Have that Treasury information given to the Senate Finance Committee and have us on a bipartisan basis do our work. That's what we do in important investigations. If the Trump people believe they need additional authority to carry out the requests that I make again this afternoon, let me offer to help them write the bill myself. The idea that there is nothing more to investigate, not when you have 4,000 wire transfers, many of them associated with the possibility of wrongdoing and sex traffic promoting. The idea that you have that and there's nothing to investigate when it comes to the Epstein sex trafficking operation is ridiculous. Pam Bondi was the Attorney General in the state of Florida, where a lot of the Epstein crimes were committed. The Attorney General ought to know better, of all people.
So, what do you think about Wyden's push for more financial documents? Perhaps you side with the Trump administration, which clearly wants to put this issue in the past. Email us, thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave us a voicemail, 503-226-5090.